Welcome to Guadalupedia. I'm Scott Watts, the founder and director of Guadalupe Missions. Introduce yourself.
I'm here with myself.
You're here with yourself.
Father Jamrog.
Never
here at Saints Peter and Paul, here in Omaha, Nebraska, South O. So
that's right.
What are we doing here, Scott?
Well, we're drinking a mug full of hot whiskey, so that's fun.
Sounds about like normal days here.
Normal days here. Hi, Archbishop McGovern. Anyway, so what we're going to do today
You're not going to pour me a cup?
Do you have a cup? I didn't even know if you had
I thought you would pour me a cup.
Right,
Why would you not?
I thought you had a cup. So what we're going to do here today is this is just a quick trial run to see how our microphone equipment and stuff works so that like highs, lows, quiet moments.
That got my ears.
That got your, you just got that PTSD. So the point is for this podcast, dear viewer, is we want to try and share Our Lady of Guadalupe in a way that's like fun and exciting and engaging, but has got some depth. So we're not just like janking around, but to share it with an audience in like a new way that hasn't been done before, and especially like Our Lady of Guadalupe is a huge devotion in the Hispanic community, but she's the patroness of the Americas. So we want to share her to people that are non-Spanish speakers, people that are non-Hispanic, as well as even people that aren't Americans. Canada still counts and everything too. But don't pay attention to him laughing at you, Canada. Sorry. But so for the next couple minutes here, we're just going to test the audio and start with a basic thing of basically Father Brett is learning about this stuff with us too. So he's going to be kind of asking questions and learning about it as we go along as well. Why don't you tell us something of like what are you hoping that we'll achieve in this first of 8 seasons or the podcast in general?
Well, I think about Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I didn't know much about her growing up. I honestly, just knew hardly anything, and I got to this assignment, and then it was mind-blowing to know that there's a lot more than just, okay, Mary appeared to this guy on Tepeyac Hill. There's all these, like, the story behind the lead up, God's providence at work is amazing. All the details of the actual apparition itself, there's so much depth there. And just the aftermath, how it's transformed so many different people's lives. So I think just walking through all of that, and especially being at a parish that's called Our Lady of Guadalupe, to me, I look at that image all the time, and just to experience Mary's tender love. So I want other people to know that.
Yeah.
That, like you said, Mary is for them.
Right. Because obviously, like, Mary is our mother, first and foremost. And anything that we give to her, like, she brings immediately to Jesus. So there's, like, you can never go wrong hanging out with your mom, right? So let's get started with just one thing I wanted to touch on. You mentioned Juan Diego, and that's something that I'm surprised by how many people are surprised that Juan Diego is not like a 20-year-old dude or something. Like he's pushing 50.
He looks kind of young in the pictures.
Yeah, he's got sometimes he's got like a wispy beard, like he hasn't even like got the full beard going yet. Not that I'm on to talk, but you have a full beard?
No, I mean I grew a beard one time for the seminary poster.
Yeah.
And I looked homeless.
Yeah.
And it stayed on every picture in the diocese for a year. Anyway,
were you hoping that would promote vocations because people thought it looked good, or
yeah? I thought it was like, you know what, homeless people can become seminarians. That was a goal, That's it. Yeah. No,
that poor diocese, they can't even afford razors.
Yeah, the budget. Yeah, right. We got a lot more money coming in.
Right, fantastic. Yes.
But yeah, Juan Diego being, it's interesting how Juan Diego. In Lincoln, I studied Latin American history, and the approach that they took at university was that it was like all made up. So I got into seminary thinking like Juan Diego didn't actually exist. I kind of had a lot of doubt going about Guadalupe. I didn't know much growing up, and then it was like, did this guy even exist? And then I got to seminary and learned about the story, Yeah. But he did exist.
He does exist. He exists. Yeah, it's the most relatable story, because although we're going to go into a lot of depth on Our Lady and we're going to have so much cool stuff to talk about, people have been talking about this for the last 500 years about Guadalupe, let alone Mary, let alone Jesus and God. But Juan Diego himself, we have like such an amazing example of somebody that lives just a regular day-to-day life. And the story of what happened from the 5 apparitions is a guy that's on a commute and had no reason to think anything exciting was going to happen on a particular Saturday. But just because his heart wasn't hardened and he was open to God speaking to him in some way, even in the midst of like a boring thing, that led to the largest conversion in recorded history. And so Juan Diego's experience in so many ways is he can be a patron for us of encountering God in the little moments, and in the daily routines and habits that we have. So yeah, Juan Diego is a just wonderful person in the story for us to like engage with and learn from as well.
Oh yeah, and I think too just how like God calls us to a life of greatness. I mean, magnanimity, that virtue that people, I think, have lost track of. Magna, great, anima, soul, great souledness. Like, God has an incredible plan for us to actually share the faith. Now, it's not always as big as Juan Diego, but if he wasn't open, like you said, I mean, where would the Americas be?
Right.
So I think it's pretty clear that God definitely desires great things for all of us.
Right. When you that's such a big sentence, such a small big sentence, that God desires big things for all of us. Like, what would the world look like if even 1% of us did more of the openness to God working through us like Juan Diego did? Mm-hmm. All that stuff, that witness, it grows exponentially.
Yeah.
So like, just the idea of even 1% of people, if there's 1 in 100 people that heard about Our Lady of Guadalupe and heard about Juan Diego, and it inspired them to be open to that encounter with God, to touch them, and the fruitfulness that can be in that, because not only does somebody experience that, but then the goodness of that wants to like grow upon itself and build upon itself, and that witness, however many people you see in your daily life, that can be like, what's that guy got? Because I don't know what that is, but I want that. It like begs the question that gives you that opportunity to evangelize.
Yeah, I mean, it's that quote, I think St. Francis of Assisi never said it, but preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words. I think like if Jesus is alive in our hearts and we have a relationship with Mary who leads us to Jesus, it's going to radiate. And Juan Diego, like, I mean, after he had that encounter with Mary, I mean, how many people did he share Jesus with? Do we know? Hundreds?
Yeah.
More?
Yeah.
Thousands? Right? And then that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And so what's the point of this podcast is not just to talk about Mary, but it's always Mary brings us to Jesus. And Jesus transforms our life.
Amen.
And I think, so can people see that? And the unifying effect in a world of division right now, how Mary can be a source of unity.
Yes.
Different cultures, especially in America right now.
Yeah.
Mary can do a lot.
Yeah. Well, that truly is the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Is like, even with her face, it's the coming together of two different peoples, like not fully native and not fully European. You have someone that embodies both of them at a time when you had two, for different reasons, but certainly like arguably very violent groups that did not like one another, did not want anything to do with one another, and in many ways like saw themselves as above the other for in different ways and in different things. And yet in the midst of all that conflict and animosity and hatred and misunderstanding, here we have this beautiful face that is like the coming together of those two peoples in a way that is like beyond a fruitfulness than anyone could have imagined at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you look at just like, I mean, wasn't human sacrifice going on? I mean, yeah. I learned that in history at UNL about there's all these things going on, but we didn't talk about why it stopped.
Right.
It just stopped.
Just They got tired of it.
They got tired of it. They ran out of people. Yeah. It's like, what? My
stabbing arm's gone tired.
You know, it's like so many things in history through the lens of just secularism. Like it was BC to then BCE. Well, what was the common era? You'd ask teachers and be like, well, it's just, next question. Next question. And so human sacrifice ends because Mary.
Right.
Mary appears. Right?
Right.
I mean, no one talks about that in the history books.
Right.
So
there's so much that we can as we kind of go through this talk about that. It's like it's not just something that has to be taken entirely on faith. There's so much science and history and very like empirical tangible things that like obviously like you want to grow in your faith too, but there's ways in which those things are made more palatable, easier to understand, because you've got things where it's like there was human sacrifice happening and it stopped. So something changed that doesn't require you to believe in God even to believe that like that happened at this period of time. So something was impacting the people at the time for a radical shift in society. So what was that?
Yeah. And that's the thing that people I don't think know, and we can go into all that. So what are we going to go through, though, for 8, we said 8 seasons? Mm-hmm. We said that?
It's 8 seasons of 10 or 10 seasons of 8. I don't remember which.
8 of 10?
8 of 10.
8 of 10, cool. Maybe more?
Yeah.
After 8, do we quit?
Subscribe to find out. So we'll go through and we're going to go through in different seasons the historical context, like why Mary appeared when she appeared. We're going to go through who she appeared to. So there's a number of important characters or figures in the true story that's there. We're going to go through the scientific in there, where we've got 5 centuries of the like best scientists and engineers and mathematicians, artists, theologians who have examined this image and cannot explain how it is. And we're also going to go through not only that, but also the signs and symbols that led to such attraction to not only Our Lady, but to Christ, ultimately. Along with a variety of other things. I don't have them all off the top of my head right now, but just to give you like a little taste of what we'll be doing.
A little taste.
So.
Why a podcast, though?
Why a podcast?
Why not just, film your talks and then put it on YouTube and let people argue in the comments section about it,
We do love that comment section.
Don't we love those?
Always a lot of
And it's
fun.
always a blank profile pic, too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's with 2 followers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that guy. You know who you are. I think the podcast format is a little more engaging. It's more fun. It's not just like somebody staring at you and telling you how it's going to be. Somebody having a conversation and asking questions and entering into that. And I think lectures are boring. So having something where in our talks, when we do a Guadalupe missions retreat, I always make sure that there's a visual component. There's stuff where you can like hold artifacts and feel the Maguey fiber and like interact with the image and all that stuff. Having a recording of it kind of just, again, limits you to just kind of, you're watching somebody just talk to you. So we're hoping that with this, it can be something that is more engaging and more bite-sized too. We're only going to have these be like half an hour. So something that you can just like pop in and listen to in the car ride or something. Because again, it's got a visual thing, but most people are going to be listening, I would imagine, to this, at least at first. Like nobody needs to see this unless you're like really desperate for content. But
we got the faces for audio.
You got face for radio.
Face for radio.
Yeah. So the 2026 version of that is a face for podcasting, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to make it something that's more accessible and hopefully a little more engaging.
Yeah. No, I think so. So when is the first official one going to drop?
So first one, we're going to be recording on Monday, which would be the end of June. So I'd imagine that coming to you at the beginning, first week of July, we'll have our first episodes out. So that'll be there and available. It's called Guadalupedia. a podcast brought to you by Guadalupe Missions. And
bam, Guadalupedia, Guadalupedia, coming right at you.
We'll work on the accents in post. So thanks for listening to our first introductory video, and we hope that you'll join us for the journey.
Bam.